Home price reductions have hit their highest level in 5 years. That's right. Price prices of homes are actually coming down, and I'm talking all across America too. So that's important for you to understand, both as a seller and as a buyer. And as you know, I like to help sellers on this channel, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. The fact that we are finally seeing prices coming down in a lot of areas in the US. Now, I can't say that specifically about your area. So, real estate is always very local. It's very hyper local too in that regard. So, you really have to understand what's happening in your market. But generally, across America, we are seeing price reductions. We're actually seeing price reductions in my area, and I know we have been seeing them for some time, but there's a decent amount. And I was shocked by this too when I was looking at the data earlier. So I am also going to show that to you as well. And I really want to go over this article that came out from Realtor.com that shows what is happening with home prices across America, because I know everything is crazy like way overvalued, and it's so high, but buyers are still paying the prices in a lot of areas, right? So I really want to focus today on how you can position yourself as a seller, because things are changing. Things are absolutely changing, and you need to be mindful of these changes. If you want to be successful selling your house, and we are in September 12th, my daughter's birthday. We are in September going into the winter, which is generally the slow market, right? So if you want to position yourself and put yourself in a good way when you're selling your home, then you really need to understand what's happening in the real estate market, specifically when it comes to sellers. So I'm going to bring up my handy dandy. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's do this. Realtor.com. Thanks for putting out this article. Home price cuts reach highest level in 5 years as sellers show patience and modesty. How you feel about that? Let me know. Let me know what you think about that. What does that mean to you? As sellers show patience and modesty. The usually hot summer housing market wilted last month. Wilted. Can you believe they use wilted? That's an interesting word. What is it, a flower? Likely due to the continued heat of stubbornly high mortgage rates. You see what they did there? Summertime, wilted, heat. And that could be great news for buyers. That could be great news for buyers. I do believe that it is good news for buyers. A new report by Realtor.com found that the number of homes actively for sale in August was 36.2% higher than the year prior, making the 10th consecutive month of growth. That's awesome right there. So that in and of itself is something that I want to talk about. So in the month of August, a 36.2% increase from the year prior. 36.2% increase. Now you hear that and you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, that's a lot, right? That's a lot more homes on the market, right? So what does that mean? That inventory is creeping up. Okay. Yes, I agree. Inventory definitely is creeping up. But you have to really compare inventory from where it was before. Okay. For this to make sense, you have to compare the inventory from where it was before. So when we were going into 2020, actually pretty much for the entire time I've been in real estate, inventory has been going down. So I started in real estate in 2015. I finally became licensed in 2016. And what I've seen is just an incremental, or not incremental, but an increase, gradual increase over time, right? From 16, 17, 18, 19. And then in 2020, it was that hockey stick, 2021 and 2022 for home values. So for the amount of inventory, it's actually been going down. So when I got into the business, we weren't in a buyer's market. It wasn't neutral. It was still a seller's market. And that seller's market just got stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger over time. And now we are in this housing inventory crisis, and we've been in it for years. Okay. So when you see that there is a 20 or 36.2% increase automatically, it, it triggers in your head like, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot more homes for sale. But the fact is, we have gone down so much since 2020 that a 36.2% increase isn't really that much. It's not really that much. Okay. So in some areas are actually being reported that the inventory is back to pre-pandemic levels. Now let that sink in. Pre-pandemic levels. That is very, very interesting to me. Pre-pandemic levels in a lot of places in Florida. And I've talked to brokers, to agents in Florida who are actually saying that as well. So it's not just hearsay. Like these are people who are in the market, who know the market, and they're telling me that as well, which is very, very interesting to understand and to know. 36.2%. So if you were at, I'm just going to pick my market, greater Philadelphia area. So generally, there are thousands of homes for sale, right? Because we're talking about, I'm not talking about the city of Philly. I'm just talking about the surrounding areas, right? We got Bucks County, Montgomery County, Delaware County, Chester County. Of those four counties, there's generally thousands of homes for sale. So if I go even more niche, right, and I look at just Chester County, when I was looking, when I was first getting started, there would be thousands of homes for sale, thousands. 3, 4, 5, 6,000s, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 homes for sale, right? We're not even remotely close to that, and I'm actually gonna show you too. I'm gonna show you what it looks like live in a little bit, but not even close to that, not even close. So, the fact that the market has gone down with supply, the 36.2% increase is not really that much. It's not really that much, but it is a good sign. It is a good sign, and the fact that we are seeing price reductions is also a good sign as well. That means that the number of listings is now at its highest level since May 2020, says Realtor.com's senior economist, Ralph McLaughlin. But that doesn't mean that we're even close to where we need to be. That means, again, because the inventory shot down so much in 2020, especially in May. At a 36.2% increase doesn't even put us close to what those pre-pandemic levels are, unless you're in an area where that does make sense. Because obviously there are areas, like I said, in Florida or even Austin, Texas, and I guarantee there's other places as well, but the for the most part, and I'm talking nationwide, we're not there yet. We're not close yet. Buyers have not only more choices in general, but also more bargain-friendly homes to consider. In August, this past August 2024, 19.3% of listings saw price reductions. That's the highest amount in August since 2018, which is welcome news for buyers weary of sticker shock. Yeah, that's right. It is welcome news because it's unsustainable, the path we're on, and I've been saying that for a long time. It's unsustainable for the path that we're on. If you're a home buyer right now, I mean, depending on the price point you're looking at and the area you're looking at, there's probably not much for sale, and then also you're paying an inflated price, in my opinion, and you're also paying a higher mortgage rate, and then you're also paying property taxes, which, eh, generally don't fluctuate too high. I mean, especially for in where I'm at in Chester County, they don't really go too high. But you know what is going up? Insurance, property insurance. That is a big piece to this puzzle, and that is increasing all across America. Property insurance is going up. So that's frustrating because when you're mortgaging a property, you have your PITI, right? PITI. Your principal, which you pay no matter what if you have a mortgage until you pay it off. Your interest, whatever interest rate you get from a mortgage lender. Right now, we're in the low sixes, and for some, mortgage loans, you can actually get in the high fives, which is great. You have your property taxes, which again, they don't fluctuate too much, which is good. And then your insurance, which is fluctuating and it is going up. And I've talked to people where their insurance rates are doubling and tripling, especially in those southern states that are getting hit really hard with the hurricanes, doubling and tripling. So it's welcome news for those buyers weary of sticker shock. I 100% agree with that. What are you guys drinking today? I got my Waterloo, my favorite soda water. Soda water? What do you call it? Flavored water? What does this reveal about the state of the housing market? Buyers might be gaining the upper hand. So that's really interesting. Buyers might be gaining the upper hand. And again, this is why I always say that you have to be really in tune with your local market, because where I'm at, buyers do not have the upper hand right now. They absolutely don't. Even though some homes are staying on the market longer in certain areas for whatever reason. I mean, there's a multitude of reasons right now, a multitude of reasons right now. An election year, you're just starting the school year. Traditionally, it slows down now. Although interest rates have gotten substantially lower from this point a year ago, a year and a half ago, buyers are still holding out because I think they see what is potentially coming, which are lower interest rates. And the fact that some of these properties that are on the market still are gonna have to come down, right? The properties that aren't selling, they're probably gonna have to start reducing their price even more if they haven't started to already. That's something to consider as well. Go back to my handy dandy screen share. A growing number of homes on the market are rising. A growing number of homes on the market and rising share of price cuts indicates that today's housing market isn't as heavily tipped towards sellers as it has been in recent years, says Danielle Howell, chief economist at Realtor.com. Now, I do believe that in certain areas. I absolutely believe that in certain areas, especially the areas where the inventory has come back up, if not pre-pandemic levels or close to pre-pandemic levels. Again, when you think about real estate, you have to understand that it's local. Because every time that I check my MLS and I see how many homes are for sale, I'm like, wow, we need to be at like 5 times that for buyers that have more choices. And that doesn't mean that, we are in a seller's market. We're in a seller's market for a majority of the US. That's why you really have to read through these articles and understand, because they make you think that something else. They make you think that, "Oh my gosh, everything's bouncing back and buyers are in these strong positions." No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. You have to really understand what's happening in your local market to understand if buyers are in a position of power over sellers. Sellers are increasingly showing patience and modesty, something buyers haven't much experienced in the post-pandemic housing market. Mortgage rates are expected to fall. They are falling. So this came out, I believe this article came out September 5th. Okay. I mean, by the time this came out, mortgage rates have already fallen. They have already gotten back to, again, the low 6s. And the fact that they are in the low 6s is good news. It's good news. It's good news for both buyers and sellers, and I really want you to understand that it's good news for buyers and sellers. Of course, it's good news for buyers because when interest rates are lower, that means that their monthly payment's gonna be lower and that they can afford more home. It's also good news for sellers because that means that more buyers will be qualified to buy their home. For the majority of homes that are purchased in America, they're not $1,000,000 or above. They're in that 200, 300, 400, $500,000 range. So when interest rates are lower, more buyers can afford a higher priced home. But at the same time, their rates are going down. With the rates going down, that also means that their monthly payment, their money out of pocket is going to be less. which is good news for sellers and buyers. But we're still in an affordability crisis, and we can't mask that. We cannot mask the fact that we are in an affordability crisis. Everything is way too expensive, especially housing. But it's good news again for buyers and sellers who want to take advantage or who can take advantage of this current market. High mortgage rates have slowed the housing market considerably over the summer months as buyers and sellers alike pumped the brakes and bided their time in hopes that rates will fall. And they have. Again, they're actually making notice of what is happening because rates have fallen. Mortgage rates fell in August to their lowest level, 6.35%. It's actually a little bit lower right now. 18 months on lower than expected job growth in July. Yet that number might not be low enough to tempt some budget-minded buyers just yet. And that's important. With expectations that the Federal Reserve will cut rates 3 times this year, 3 times starting from now, because they haven't cut yet. And the Fed is meeting next week, I believe. And they're supposed to it's projected that they're going to cut 3 times. It's likely that some potential buyers are sidelining themselves until rates come down further, says McLaughlin. Again, this is all good news. I can't say that it's bad news for either sellers or buyers. I think it's good news for the average consumer. I think when prices go down, that's actually a good thing, because nobody wants to pay these inflated prices. Nobody wants to pay these extremely high prices for homes. I mean, gosh, man, some of the homes I'm seeing coming for sale in my market, it's like that home just sold for 500,000 4 years ago, and now it's 700. You haven't really even done that much work. It's almost the same. It's almost the same. I mean, I'm seeing like what did I see recently? A 3 or 4 bed, 1 bath, 1.5 bath, 1,500 square foot ranch, a ranch home listed for 550. 550 for a ranch. That's wild. Now I know there's a lot of people that want one for a living, but the fact that we're at $550,000 for a ranch home, that's not even 2,000 square feet. That didn't even have a finished basement. It didn't have a finished basement. It was nice, but it wasn't finished. But we're talking $550,000. That's wild. That 550 used to be that not a first-time home buyer, not around here, but that was like that move-up buyer. Generally, the people I help, someone that's selling and they wanna move up and buy something a little bit bigger. For 550, you used to be able to get a 2,200, 2,500 square foot home. A colonial, 2 beds or 4 beds, 2 baths, 1 to 2-car garage. Now we're looking at a starter home size property, 1,500 square foot ranch for 550. Woo! When is it gonna come down? When is that gonna come down? That's what I'm waiting for. I don't think it ever will in certain areas unless some major actually, I shouldn't say that because I'm fortunate enough to be around great real estate agents, and one just shared recently with me something that I truly believe after hearing her say it, that could potentially not put us in a housing crash, but severely reduce the price of homes. I'm gonna share that with you a little bit later. Let's get back to this. Home prices declined. Home prices declined. With price reductions up in August, median home prices fell, dropping from 439,950 in July to 429,995. Wow, a $10,000 decrease in median home price. But still, like we're talking all across America. 430 grand? The median? $430,000? Are you effing kidding me? How many people can really afford that? How many? I mean, what is that? Let's do it. Let's see how much that costs right now. We're gonna do this live. So here we go. 430. This is how I always figure it out. Let's just say if that's the median, 430. Let's just say you're doing FHA. Okay. Let's just say you're doing FHA loan. You're just doing 3.5% down. Yeah, FHA is probably, let's just put 6% to be safe. We're doing 30 years, property taxes, $2,700 a year, PMI is 0.5%, homeowners insurance, we can go a little bit lower. I don't think it's generally that high. Not in an HOA. We're doing FHA and we're doing buy. Okay, let's look at what that costs on a monthly basis. $3,000 per month. $3,000 per month for a $430,000 home if you're utilizing an FHA loan. $3,000 a month. That's crazy. That's crazy. What does that come out to be a year? Usually says it here. That's only a down payment of 15,000, okay? $3,000 a month. Wow. PMI to, yeah, 21,000. Okay. I mean, like, this is wild to me. So let's just say you had the 20% down payment, which a lot of people don't. I understand that. Even at the 20% down payment, you're still looking at $2,400 out the door. PITI. Actually, for you won't have no mortgage insurance at that price. 2,400. Beep. You're still at $2,400 for a $430,000 home. You're at $2,400. I mean, that's crazy, but that's the median price. That's where we're at right now. That is where we're at. We've seen more sellers listing homes for sale compared with the prior year. Good news. The buildup of sellers at the same time that many buyers are pressing pause has led to a shift in market balance, and more sellers are calibrating their price to reflect this. But despite the overall decline in national median list price, all prices didn't decrease technically. When a change in the mix of inventory towards smaller homes is accounted for, the typical home listed this year has increased in asking price compared with last year, says McLaughlin. Last month, as the previous 6 months, the growth in homes priced in the 200,000, 350,000 range outpaced all other price categories as the number of homes for sale in the range grew by 45.1% year over year, particularly in South. That's good news. That's good news, right? That's that sweet spot. That's a sweet spot for buyers. That's that sweet spot for sellers as well, 200 to 350. As a result, the median price per square foot increased 2.3% in August compared with the same time last year, and a whopping 50.9% compared with July of 2019. To me, I see that as really good and positive news because if you are buying a home and you're in that price point where it's like you need to be in that 200 to $350,000 price point, if you're moving to the South or if you already live in the South and that's where you wanna be, that's good news as well. But up here in the Northeast, I mean, we don't often see that. Like, that price point, unless you're in those, I don't wanna say less desirable, more desirable, but just in areas that aren't as populated, especially in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a huge state. A majority of the population is really in the Southeast. And then you have, on the west side, you have Pittsburgh and the surrounding areas, so there's a lot of people there, but, central PA or, western PA, there's not, like, a lot of people. So there's more land. There are not necessarily more homes for sale, but the price points aren't nearly as high as what they are where I live, right, in the greater Philadelphia area. So, to see something come up for sale in, like, the 200 to 350, especially in Chester County, woo, if that's in good shape, man, that's moving. But a lot of times if they come for sale in that price point, they're not in best shape. Like, you're gonna have to do some work to it. You're absolutely gonna have to do some work. Take a little breaky. Alright. Homes for sale are on the rise too, which is good news for the housing market. Home buyers who did dip a toe in the tepid market last month had many more homes to tour. All four regions of the US saw an increase in active home listings. Ding, ding, ding. Great news. Buyers looking for sunny climes or particular. I never heard that. Climes? Climates? Am I crazy? Climb. A region considered with a reference to its climate. Wow, I just learned something new. Buyers looking for sunny climes were particularly in luck, with the South leading the pack at 46%, the West followed at 35.7, Midwest at 23.8, and the Northeast at 15.1. Again, yeah, look at the Northeast. I that's my area. It's the Northeast. And again, we're generally the lowest. It's a very desirable even though it gets ridiculously cold, it's still a very desirable place to live among the US. So, I can see that being the case. The metros with the largest increase in the number of homes for sale were Tampa, Florida, 91%. San Diego, 80.1%, or Orlando, 75.7. Wow, there you go. So the number of homes for sale in these areas have increased substantially. So that means, like, if you've been waiting, you're like, "Damn, I really wanted to move to Tampa, but the market's been this, and this," or San Diego, which is probably crazy prices right now, and then Orlando, it might be a good time for you to think about that. And then sellers, right? So you really gotta think from the standpoint of sellers. What does that mean that you're going to do? How are you going to make sure that you position your home in the right way? How are you going to put your home up for sale and be successful, right? And what does success even mean to you? Does that mean selling as quickly as possible? Does that mean getting the highest price possible? Does that mean getting the best terms possible? I think it's a combination of all those. So if you're in Tampa, Florida, and you're thinking about selling, just know that the market, I'm not gonna say saturated because it's never fully saturated. Saturated means that there's no room left. There's always room to list your home, but you're gonna have competition. If you're selling your home in San Diego, you have competition. You're going to have competition now before. So you have to be realistic with your pricing. Now is if you're in those areas, now is not the time to try and chase that crazy price that you thought you would be able to get last year or the year before if you're thinking of selling and you didn't sell. If you're in that kind of situation where you're like, "I gotta sell, man. I gotta sell my home. I'm relocating. I'm in Tampa. I gotta relocate to Wisconsin. Gotta be a cheesehead." What does that mean? Okay, so look around the neighborhood and see what similar homes to yours have sold for. If you got 450, 440, 450, 460, 470, and then you really have to break it down and compare apples to apples. What kind of home do you have? Is it a one-floor home with 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2,000 square feet? Okay, compare yours to the other homes that are 1 floor, 4 beds, 2 baths, 2,000 square feet. Don't compare it to the 5,000 square foot home. Don't compare it to a 1,000 square foot home. You have to compare apples to apples. That's how you find out what your home is worth. That is exactly how you do it, and I can show you in a little bit exactly how I go about finding comps and pricing homes, because that's what's important right now as a home seller. You have to understand that if you're in these areas where there has been an influx in inventory and getting close to pre-pandemic levels, you have to price accordingly. The number one thing in real estate, if you price your home accordingly, you will be successful when you sell it. You can almost knock out everything else about the house, but if you price it well, if your house needs a lot of work, if it's a complete mess, it's cluttered, you can't find the time to take care of it, you can't find the time to declutter, you can't find the time or the finances to make the necessary repairs. If you price it right, it will sell. Now, is it gonna sell for what it would sell for if it's fully renovated? No, and that's real estate. So, if you're in a position now or you have to list your home, making sure that you understand your local market and what similar homes to yours are selling for. That's how you position yourself right off the bat. You can do this yourself if you want to. You're hiring a real estate agent, you have to make sure that they know what they're doing, okay? But that's how you position yourself well in this current real estate market. So going back to that example, if we're in Tampa, Florida, and similar homes to mine are 440, 450, 460, and then you break it down a little bit more. Okay, what does that home have that mine doesn't? Or what does my home have that that one doesn't? If you have a pool in Florida and the other homes don't have a pool, that means your home is going to be worth more because people in Florida want pools. Does that mean and let's say for this example, let's make sure or let's say that all everything else is very similar. The interior finishes are similar, exterior finishes are similar. It's in very similar condition, except for yours has a pool and the other 3 that are similar to yours for some reason didn't. So you're thinking, "Okay, the highest one sold for 470. I'm gonna price mine at 570." What? Pools aren't worth $100,000. I mean, even in Florida, in those hot areas, I I can't see it selling for unless I could be completely wrong or completely off base. And if you're in Florida and you're watching this and you're hearing this, let me know, please. But just because yours has a pool, if everything else is similar and you're gonna try and get 570 for it, I mean, that to me seems crazy. That seems very crazy unless the market will allow it. And you know how you find out if the market allows it? You list your home on the market, you get buyers through, and then you get feedback from the buyers. Buyer feedback is how you know if you're priced too high. That's it. Buyer feedback is if you know or you're priced too high. If you list your home at 570,000, the closest home that sold recently to yours is 470. You get 25 showings, you do open houses, you get all these parties through, and if you have no offers after 1 week, the market is telling you that you're overpriced. If all the feedback says the house is great, it's priced too high, that's how you know you're listed too high. Buyer feedback is the most important aspect of knowing if you're listed too high, and it's not a secret. Realtors might be gatekeepers and try and hold that information from you, but I'm telling you this, there's no crazy secret to know if your price is listed too high other than buyer feedback. That's how you know. That's how you know and understand if you're listed too high. That's it. Pretty dang simple. Let me get back to this. We'll finish this and we'll look at pricing some homes. Fresh listings took a dive. Oh, okay. So we're gonna okay. Now we're looking at price reductions. That makes sense because they were saying that inventory went up, and then I read fresh listings took a dive. While overall housing stock rose, newly listed homes dropped 0.8% from last year's level, breaking a 9-month streak of increasing listing activity. So it is saying that, but it just said homes for sale are on the rise. But see, intuitive or contradictory. There are a couple of factors driving the August slowdown in new listing activity, says Hale. Hale points to the volatile mortgage rates over the past few months for creating uncertainty among potential sellers, with mortgage rates climbing from February through May. It's likely that many homeowners who might have listened in August chose to put off preparations. Okay, I get that. The freshest housing choices were in the South and the West, like always, with 4.1% and 1.7% more newly listed homes in August of 2023, respectively. Meanwhile, new listings dropped by 5.4% in the Midwest and 1% in the Northeast. See, again, in the Northeast, everything's always different up here. However, this could all turn around soon. Here's the hope. We think the sharp decrease in mortgage rates seen in mid August could lead to an increase in listings in the coming months as lower rates begin to entice the marginal homeowner to sell, McLaughlin explains. Now, here's what I don't get. Here is the interesting thing about that. In my experience, Of all the sellers, hundreds of sellers that I've helped, and when I was in the managing broker role and working directly with agents and helping them in their transactions, when they were working with their sellers, I rarely, if ever, came across someone who wanted to just sell to sell. Like, there's always a reason behind it. It's rare, and again, I could be wrong, but in my experience, I'm not seeing a lot of sellers just wanting to sell, to chase the market. I don't know anyone that was, like, sitting on their home all throughout the past 4 years like, "Oh, I'm waiting for it to go up. I'm waiting for it to go up. I'm waiting for it to go up. I'm waiting for my time to sell." Because a lot of times, where are you gonna go, man? Where are you gonna go, John? When you sell it, where are you going? You have to buy. You're gonna be a buyer. You're not just selling to sell unless it's an investment property and you don't wanna deal with tenants anymore. I mean, that's pretty much the only case is but again, there's something behind it. There's something driving it. So it's not just selling to sell. You're not, what mortgage rates to entice marginal homeowners to sell. I know, kinda ridiculous to me, to be honest. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's finish out this article and jump into looking at some fun stuff. Homes are still lingering on the market. Home sales were positively weed. Oh, come on, man. I have a Philadelphia education. They didn't teach us this stuff. Languid? Is that how you say it? Languid? Languid? Languid. I think it's languid. Languid is an adjective that means lacking enthusiasm, energy, or strength. We are learning stuff today. We're learning what words mean. Climbs and languid. With typical home spending 53 days on the market. 53 days. Wow, that's actually pretty high. 7 more days than the same time last year. That's the slowest August in 5 years, says McLaughlin. August marks the 5th in a row where homes spent more time on the market compared with the previous year as inventory continues to grow and home sales remain sluggish. All this means buyers have some more breathing room when making an offer. All right. Buyers have more breathing room. That's good. That's good for the market. We talked about the seller side of it, right? You have to position yourself well. There was literally a point in the past few years where sellers were just saying like, "Dude, I know everything else in my neighborhood sold for 550. I'm gonna try for 625. I'm gonna try." My neighbor got 20 offers. He got bid up from 490 to 550. My house is a little bit bigger. It's got more of this, more of that. Why don't I try for 650 or 625 and just see what happens? I'll lower my price. I don't care. That happened. There were times that really happened. What I wanna talk with you about or show you right now is the actual decrease, like actual numbers too, because you you see it in articles and you're like, "Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. I guess I believe I guess I believe you. I guess, but I don't know for sure." Well, I wanna show you in real time. This is Bright MLS. This is what I use for my MLS. I come in here, got my hot sheets. So I have this set up for my county specifically. So this is Chester County, PA, right outside of Philadelphia. Come on, baby, load. All right. So we have in the past 3 days, let's go to 7 days. We have had a price decrease of 73. 73 price decreases in the past week. Okay. Dun. You know what? I don't think that you can see that as well as you should be able to. I wanna share I'm gonna share the window so you can see me going back and forth. Oh, yeah, there we go. Alright, so here you go. 73 price decreases in 7 days in Chester County alone. Now, this is important to understand. I'm gonna put in Chester here. So, look at this bottom number, 750. That is how many listings coming soon, excuse me, in the coming soon status and active on the market. So active on if a home is coming soon, you're not really decreasing the price. So I'm just gonna take that out. So we have 707 active listings in Chester County. Okay. So that means let's look at this. Let's do some math. Is 73 divided by 707 is 10%. 10%. Okay? That's pretty crazy. A 10% decrease in the active number of listings. So you can see that based on this, what did the article say? 19.3, right? Not 18.3? 19.3. So we're close. I mean, here, even even in Chester County, it's pretty dang close. And who knows? A lot of these homes could have been on the market for some time too. These top ones, they came temporarily off market or withdrawn, and they came back to active for whatever reason. But look at this. We got 625 to 615. This is actually in my area, in my school district, Downingtown. Wow, 3 beds, 2 see, this is what I'm talking about. 3 beds, 3 beds, 2 baths, 2.5 baths, 2,300 square feet, 615. And this one came down. Nice house, 2-car garage, but look, I mean, look at the interior. There's nothing wrong with it, but the average home buyer, okay? I'm going through this. Me and my wife are looking at it. We're thinking ourselves, "Okay, what are we gonna have to do eventually or before we move in?" The carpets look decent. I mean, I see some staining. I definitely see some staining, so I'm gonna say, we're probably gonna have to do the carpet in these 2 rooms. These paint colors are not what we want, so we're painting this room, okay? So right there, we got paint and carpets in the first 2, and then you have this. Okay, how old is this home? This home is 2002. This kitchen looks like it's original. So you're talking about 22-year-old kitchen, okay? There's another 20, 25 grand just to update the kitchen, okay? So you're buying at 615. You already have to do carpets. These carpets look okay, and this paint, it looks like they redid this room. This isn't bad. I mean, that's a laundry room, you can get away with it. Bathroom, it's not too bad. That's also not too bad. I mean, depending on what the carpets look like in person, that paint is okay for a bedroom. Bathroom's original. You're gonna wanna do that in the next couple years, but here we go. That's let's just say 15 grand for the bathroom, okay? Another 15 grand, 10, 15 grand for this bathroom. So you see it adds up. It all adds up. And this is what I'm saying, like, this is unsustainable, and you have a not finished basement. So you're talking 615 grand to get into this home. It only has 3 bedrooms. It's nice that it's 2.5 bathrooms. It also has a 2-car garage, point 0.3 acres, not much land, a $400 annual HOA fee, and then out of pocket, if you wanna update everything before you move in or in the first year, you're looking at 50, 60 grand or more. I mean, it's unsustainable. Unsustainable. Let's go back. Let's go back so we can look at, yeah, I want the price decrease. Just to give it an overarching view. 699 to 680, 615 to 600, so $15,000 price cut, $20,000 price cut, 5,000, $35,000 price cut, $25,000 price cut. See, the prices are coming down, and it's good news. It's good news that prices are starting to come down, right? And that's what people need. That's what people want. People want to see prices coming down. It's just unsustainable. It's unsustainable right now. I know that if you're considering selling your property, you're gonna get way more for it than you were going to get 4 years ago. You know, I give this example all the time. This house that I'm in now, we bought it for 385. 395? 395. We've put a lot of work into it over the years. We redid kitchens, blah, 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 paint, floors, all that stuff. A house similar to mine. Let's find out what that one actually sold for. I wanna show you. This is how I comp homes. I'm gonna show you how I help sellers understand what their home is worth. This is good stuff. This is good for you to know. I'm gonna share my window again. Let's see. Alright. My home, just so you guys, let's see. Downingtown. I'm in Downingtown. Why can't I remember where I live? Downingtown, bro. So my house is 4 beds, 2.5 baths, and this is so funny. I always struggle to know how big it actually is because I've had this home appraised 4 times now, and all 4 times, the finished square feet have been different. All 4 times, the finished square feet have been different. So I just kinda take an average. We're at about 2,500 square feet, so we have 4 levels technically. 1st floor, 2nd floor, finished attic, office where I'm at now, and then we have a partially finished basement. So total finished square feet is about 3,000. It's about 3,000 square feet, okay? So I'm looking at Downingtown Borough that have sold in the past, let's just say the past 30 days, because that's how 'cause there's one specifically that I wanted to look at to see what it finally sold for. Okay. So remember when I said you wanna compare apples to apples? Well, that's what you have to do. So I look at what sold recently. Okay, this one closed at 375, which is pretty dang low, to be honest. So to me, this home seems like it needs a lot of work. So we have an older home as well, and we have about half an acre. Yeah, I mean, it's dated. Yep, floors, no central AC, ceilings. Yeah, you're gonna be putting a decent amount of work into to get this into what ours looks like. Kitchen's okay. I mean, still, like, that's so weird. There's no exhaust fan. Like, where's your exhaust fan? Yeah, this is definitely dated, and it's got really low ceilings too. Like, some of these older homes around us have super low ceilings. So this although this is about the size of mine, I mean, look, you're talking about you got a lot. You gotta put a lot of work into this. I not it's about the size, but I'm not gonna use that as a comp because it needs a lot of work, and ours does. It's move-in ready. So, here we go. 958 square feet, 415. Whoa. 1,400 square feet, 410. So, this is a condo. That's a twin, so 305. Flood zone, a row home, 255. 375, another twin. See, I need to find single family homes too. Okay, here it is. So this is the home that I have been keeping my eye on to see what it sold for because this is as close to mine as we're gonna get. So 3 full beds, 3 full bathrooms, so it's only 3 bedrooms, 2,700 square feet. It's in a similar-ish location. So I'm over here, this home's over here, it's not too far away. Sold for $630,000. 630, pretty crazy. Really nice exterior, big driveway, which we have as well. We have a big driveway. It's got a pool, and in this area in the Northeast, pools don't really add value. A lot of people don't wanna deal with pools. So if you put a $100,000 pool in and the neighborhood's saying 500 grand and you list it 600 because you have a $100,000 pool, you're probably not getting it. I'm sorry. You're probably not. You invested way too much. For the most part, you're definitely not gonna get that. It's nice though. It's nice to have a pool. So that's all for 6 remember, this sold for 630. This is okay. Dining room's okay. Definitely is a little dated. This room looks like it has low ceilings as well. Nice and big though. Oh, so that's the great room that leads into the kitchen. Okay. Nice big brick fireplace. The kitchen's nice. I mean, it's not generally what people want, but it actually is nice. It's big. It's got a nice big island. Ours is very similar, but more updated. So we redid ours in 2020. Okay. Kitchen's nice. This back playroom is nice. Original kitchen. Oh, interesting. Maybe like an in-law? Needs some work. Yeah, this is all dated. It's like you're doing floors, you're painting, it's got all that wood. Like, this is a lot. This over 630, that's crazy, and it still needs to be updated. Finished basement. We have a partially finished basement. It's much newer looking than this. Wow. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. So, I think to myself, I'm like, "Okay, like, I don't have this nice little shed area. I don't have the pool." Um Mine's way not way more updated than this, but it is more updated, and again, it's in a very like, this road is it's Euclid Road, if you can see it. Where is it? That's a busy road. Like, that's a lot of people that go in front of this house. A lot of people go in front of this house, way more than ours. Nice big front yard, decent backyard, the pool takes up a lot. It's a really, really nice driveway surrounded by trees. Like, this house definitely has a lot going for it. 630, okay? So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, "Alright, so it's 2,700, let's see." I wanna know if they're including the partially finished basement in that? Okay, maybe. Maybe they are including the partially finished basement, but I look at that, I'm like, "Okay, we're 4 beds, 2.5 baths." About 2,500 square 2,500 square feet, and then we have about a 600 square foot partially finished basement. Puts us a little bit over 3,000, so more square footage, 1 more bedroom. They have 1 more full bathroom, and it's .41 acres. We're .48 acres. We have a nice big driveway as well where you can park a ton of cars. And this sold for 631. That's crazy. 631. So I look at that, I'm like, "Okay, this is the most similar home to mine that sold recently, so I'm probably getting 625, or I could probably push above 631 since ours is more updated." It's hard to, like, base it off of one comp, but in an area where, we're looking at homes, okay, so this one is 555. This one's very similar to ours too. I mean, 2,100 square feet, so partially finished. I don't know if they didn't add any additional, so we're about 1,000 square feet bigger, and this one sold for 555. Good exterior, nice open floor plan. The kitchen's definitely older. It's not bad. It's older, it's small. Bedrooms look a little bit small. Updated bathroom. Okay, there you go. Looks like that's the primary bedroom. Second floor bedroom. That's nice. Very big. And then a decent size, yeah. So here you go. This one sold for and this house is in a way better location, in my opinion. It's got a really nice backyard too than the one I just showed you. So 555, and then the other one's at 631. So these are 2 really good comps that I could now this is a new construction neighborhood, so you cannot compare your home to new construction unless your home is new construction. Our home was built in 1938. This was built in 2020, okay? So even though it's a 5, 3.5, about similar square feet, it's still a 4-year-old home. So we wouldn't try and get 880. You know what I mean? Like, that's just crazy. That's way, 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 way too high to try and compare it to. You can't compare your home to new construction. Yeah. So I'm looking at that, I'm like, "Okay, we have a home that's similar to ours that sold for, 555 and 631, both similar square feet, so 631 plus 555 divided by 2, 593. I mean, that's, like, the average for a home similar to mine, and then you gotta, like, weigh, pros and cons of each, you know? You gotta compare kitchens, you gotta compare bathrooms, you gotta compare living rooms and bedrooms and finished basements and not finished basements and usable, yard or not usable yard. You gotta take into account those. So I look at that, and I'm like, "Okay, so the median's probably 593." What I would do if I were to sell my home, if I was to list my home right now, I'm gonna price it at probably at 600, right? So we're in between, because our home definitely offers more than the one that's sold for 555,000. It, in my opinion, offers more than the home that sold for 631, but I don't wanna chase that upper price. That's why I'll price it at 600 and see what happens. Generally, I'm looking at that, or I could even do 590 maybe, but I would think price it at 600 and then let the market dictate what happens next. Again, there's no secrets to this, guys. When it comes to selling your home, there really is no secrets. It's all about strategy, and it's the 3 Ps. I've been talking about this literally for 8, 9 years. It's the price, the presentation, and the promotion. Price, presentation, promotion. The price is the price. You come to that conclusion with your real estate agent, or if you're doing it by yourself, then you just base it off of what you can find off of Zillow, or if for some crazy reason you have access to MLS, which the data is way better, then you can if you don't have that, then you're gonna have to look at Zillow. But price is price. You set the price. I always tell people to underprice a little bit. You wanna draw more interest in. You want more buyers' eyeballs on that property. Price is price is price, okay? Then you have the promotion. How are you or actually before that, you have the presentation. How does your home present to the buyer pool that wants to see it? What kind of condition is your property in? What updates does it have? Is it staged or not staged? What is the deferred maintenance that people don't know about that they might not be able to see? You know, we're presenting it in a way. Or do you and in 2024, oh my gosh, if you don't have professional photos and a professional video, what are you doing? What is your agent doing? They're stuck in a different age, right? Photos and video are non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Your agent or you have to be doing that because I don't know what the percentage is. At this point in 2024, I feel like it's 100% of people buy or shopping online first. Very rarely is someone gonna drive by your home and see that it's for sale and not look at Zillow and look at the pictures. I'm gonna say it's gotta be at least 100% or shopping online first. How does your home show online? That is so important. That's why professional photography it's a non-negotiable, and to have a high quality video tour done as well. That's the presentation of your home. You want your home to show like a model home. You want it to show like a new construction home. And then promotion. How are you or how is your agent going to promote your home to the mass? To all the potential buyers out there. How is your agent gonna present that? That's what's most important, besides price. Is it all over social media where it needs to be? Is it in front of the right buyers at the right time? Are you a top listing on Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com? Do you have your 3D walkthrough? Things like that. This is what you need to be doing now. In 2024, you should have been doing it 8 years ago, 2016. But you absolutely need to be doing that now because there's a way you can position your home that stands out above everyone else's. There is a way you can do that, and you have to follow certain things, right? It's really important, and I want to stress that to you because with these price reductions happening, that means that in a lot of areas, it's getting more competitive for buyers. If more buyers have more choices, values are going to continue to go down. They are. That's just the law of supply and demand. If there's more supply with the same demand, values are going to drop. So you have to be in the right position. You have to be doing things the right way. You have to put your home in front of the most amount of people, and it shows in the best possible light. Unless, again, you're in some kind of situation where you don't care about that, an as is cash sale. You just need the right investors. So that leads into this. If you are saying this and you do need an agent anywhere across the US, I have connections all over the place, and you don't really feel like interviewing and vetting and talking to all these different agents, I can help you. All you have to do is click that link. All you do is click that link. It's in the description. I'm gonna put it right here as well so you have it. Actually, I think I might be able to languid. That was the last thing that was the last thing I copied was languid. I'm so happy I learned that today, man. So happy. All you gotta do, yeah, it is in there. It's in my calendar. Okay, yeah, yeah. It's up there. It's in the pinned comment. Click that link, schedule an appointment with me. I'm gonna do all the hard work for you. I'm gonna find the right agent that can fit your needs, your wants, and your desires to get your home sold. And if you're in a position where your home is in some kind of distress or you're in some kind of distress and you need the right investor to buy it, got those connections as well. All you gotta do is click that link, schedule an appointment with me. Same thing if you're located here in Greater Philadelphia. If you wanna work with me and my team, you gotta get your home sold. Click that link, we'll schedule an appointment. We'll talk 10, 15 minutes, figure out what you want, and then we'll go from there. So that's it. That's it for today. I appreciate you guys jumping on. Go Phillies. The magic number as of today is 9 to win the NL East. Go Eagles. My Birds are 1-0. 1-0. We beat the Packers. Sixers and Flyers are starting soon. I mean, the sports world is buzzing in Philly area. Look forward to connecting with you guys. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate